Howdy folks, Charlie here from Feral Indie Studio. If you don't already know, our book, Into the Cess and Citadel, is getting a second printing. This is thanks to the folks, and our co-publishers, at Wedding Games. Thanks, Brandon and Matt. In honor of that, I wanted to make a video I've had in mind for a while now, and probably should have already done, that is, how to build a city from scratch using Cess and Citadel. In part to show off what the book can do as an instructional guide on how you can build a city of your own, and also what I think about when I'm putting something like this together. So, let's begin. Starting with the faction relationships section, we are going to generate the various entities and groups that call the city home. The factions are divided into three groups: those who follow, those who struggle, and those who rule, essentially denoting which groups are most closely aligned or controlling power structure within the city. So, transferring the chart onto the paper, we're going to drop some dice, mark their position and number, and record the listed faction for each one of these dice. Next, start connecting nearby factions with one another, denoting a relationship. To see what kind of relationship, roll a 20-sided dice, and consult the chart. Before long, you'll notice points of intrigue or drama. This, ultimately, is what makes a city. A sticky web of drama and intrigue, secret allies, open enemies, and bizarre circumstances, all woven into a network across the social strata of the city. I'm gonna interrupt for a second to answer, why build your own city? There are plenty of incredible setting books out there, some specifically about cities. Frankly, why go through all the work of making one yourself? Why not just grab one of the setting books that already has everything taken care of, all the details, all the characters, all the content that you'll ever need? Admittedly, for me, in-depth settings like this are a pain in the ass to run as a referee. Yes, I love the microfiction and interlocking parts of a massive and juicy setting. This is absolutely no shade towards setting books. There are a lot of incredible pieces of work out there, and I think that should be celebrated. But keeping tabs on details like that, details that I, as the referee, did not have a part in making and have no idea that they might even exist, it takes up headspace better spent playing the game and exploring it alongside my players. You, the referee, should get to play the game too. So, as you design the broad strokes of your city for your players to explore, you then get to fill in the details as the exploration happens. What's the name of the street? Let's roll and find out. Who is that character that keeps following us? By golly, I'm so glad you asked. What's the name of the nearest pastry shop? Oh, it's Miss Sweetwater's Fancy, and it's, dirty, and its stock is molding from neglect. Fun! Toolboxes for designing your own settings allows you, as the referee, to keep tabs on the world and organically grow it alongside your players. It takes so much of the stress away from running games, and, in particular for me, feels healthier to play and run. Dare I say, it's more fun to run a game this way. Okay, interruption over. Let's get back to yeah. So, we've got all these people, now we need a place. Using a piece of grid paper, in this case I chose hexes, drop a handful of 6-sided dice, record their position and number. Each one of these dice will represent a change in wealth division between middling, wealthy, and opulent wealth. This will affect the types of features, dangers, and prices players will encounter in exploring. After that, you can generate the features and issues of each hex. This can be done before a game or during. I prefer to do it ahead of time to help illustrate the city, see what interesting things pop up, and figure out where the factions fit in this landscape. For example, there happen to be 2 entrances to the undercity, which is a good excuse to show off the undercity section of the book. The undercity is a vast subterranean ecosystem that sits beneath the city. Iterations of the old cities crushed under the weight of the new city and connected with a series of sewer pipes and tunnels. To start, take a sheet of grid paper. Note any entrances from the surface features. Next, drop a handful of dice onto the paper. Note their position and number. Using the chart, draw a line or series of lines from each position. These are the tunnels, crevices, and buried streets that make the undercity and connect each of the landmarks. At each intersection, draw a node representing a point of interest, an expansive area, or a landmark. After that, drop a few more dice and connect them to the tunnel system to create some additional nodes. For each node, roll a 20-sided dice and consult the undercity landmark section, creating a strange and subterranean landscape. For fun, I'm gonna draw the outline of the city that sits on top of it, to give a scale of the undercity and show off where these tunnels and routes lead to. And with that, we've completed our city. Now, we can stop here with the essentials of the people, places, and problems that make up the setting. This is more than enough to run a small adventure or get ready for a session at the table. But let's take it an extra step, and I'll show off how I brainstorm and build up more of the world. I'm going to use something I call scratch pad brainstorming. It's like free writing, but with doodles and drawing. All I'm going to do is take a big piece of paper and write and doodle and build out the fiction of the city. Who are some of the characters? What do the factions look like? What are some of the places and objects found in the city? Now, I'd say we have a fleshed out setting. There's places for players to explore, there's a visual language the referee can draw on to narrate, there are conflicting groups that can lead to intrigue and opportunity. It's a setting ready to be run, and one I would happily sit down and play in. I think that's pretty cool. But why stop there? Welcome to the City of Mail. Things are not well. The city is in upheaval. There's a power play at the top while everyone below is picking a side or taking the chaos to make some money. Saffron Sash grifters are currently buying up property. Meanwhile, Wicker's Rest is running a contraband ring. The Tanner's Guild is getting pissed off at everyone because they seem to not be making money while everyone else is. This includes their rivals, the Soot Setters, jewelers and goldsmiths, who are secretly procuring alchemical ingredients. This is being orchestrated and procured by the Fine Point Assembly, a chainmail and fine point guild now making weapons in a ploy to take power. Unfortunately, they are stopped by two political parties, the Lamenters and Honest Blades. Two political parties both owned by the Overlord, who has been absent for several years. This Overlord, also known as the Watchful Crown of the Royal Mission, has pushed out the founding religion of the city. Ian is currently attempting to flee the Overlord. However, that founding religion is actually being bankrolled by the Fine Point Assembly at this point. While the Overlord maintains power, finances, and status quo, the Fine Point has allied themselves with much of the city and uses their weapons to devastating effect. The streets erupt with violence as the Fine Point makes their advance on the Overlord. Sides are picked, alliances secretly made, as the power structure in the city shudders with strife. What about the city? So glad you asked. The already neglected infrastructure has only collapsed further. Sewage overflows fill entire neighborhoods. Sinkholes have begun forming across the city, and an outbreak of both fleas and tooth-eating worms has consumed the city center. Toll checkpoints are in place to stop the spread, while guards from the Overlord and Fine Point crack down on dissenters. With plague, infestation, and constant clashes between the factions, the middle of the city is a dangerous no-man's land that few dare set foot in. With such dangers and infrastructure failure, the city continues to risk total collapse, and talks of rebellion against the leaders of this conflict, both the Overlord and Fine Point, continue to grow. But wait, there's more! Because smugglers have been using the Undercity to avoid the dangers of a city center, transporting goods, contraband, and making a killing while doing so. But the Undercity comes with its own dangers. Sewer tides cause routine floodings, making travel difficult, not to mention the flesh-eating moths, sewer walruses, combat patrols from both the Fine Point and Overlord, disease-ridden beaches, and deeply territorial walrus trappers from the Tanner's Guild. But what about the shadowy dangers from the Old City? A mysterious ruin of the ancient hegemony that ruled before the city's founding. Some speculate there's treasure there, but watch out for the titanic Brine Shambler. It's here where pockets of resistance and rebellion foment, readying for the moment to strike against the oppressive regimes and take the city back for the folks who struggle to live and work within it. Well, that was fun. This is just a small example of what can be made with the book. Hell, we didn't even get to talk about the spires or even the districts. But for those looking to create cities of their own using Cess and Citadel, I hope it was informative and a little fun. Like most of our work at Feral Indie, we wanted to make a book that anyone could use. Something that felt weird, fun, personal, and most of all, useful. I've run games using this book and plan on running more. I've listened to folks talk about their own games that they were able to run using it, as well as other projects folks have started based off of it. That's really all I can hope for. A useful and interesting book. As I mentioned before, we are currently funding our second print run on Kickstarter. There will be a link in the description, and you can pick up your very own copy of Cess and Citadel. If you're interested in more of our work at Feral Indie Studio, check out our website, feralindystudio.com. As well, we are currently making the sequel to Cess and Citadel, titled Into the Salt and Surf, capping off our decade-long journey with this series. And with that, I'm off to work in the studio. Thank you for your support and time. I hope you find this video useful and a little bit fun, and we would love it if you followed us as we continue on to our next project. As always, thank you, take care, and be well.